Hey guys, what's going on? It's RC Knockout and I am back with another video. Now if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Nolan. In today's video I've got some upgrades I want to do to my Traxxas Summit. So what are those upgrades, you might ask? Well, a lot of them are aluminum upgrades, but I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. First off, I have these right here, and these right here are aluminum hub slash steering carriers. So they're universal. They're the same on the front and the back. But they're basically, and they come with new bearings, but they're aluminum. Nice blue anodized aluminum. Also, I've got this right here, which is a hot racing aluminum steering bell crank. So, got to install that as well. I'm hoping that that'll help tighten up the steering on the Summit, because the Summit, one of the biggest flaws with the Summit is that the Summit steering is very, very soft, because the servo saver in here is so soft. So I'm hoping, since this has its own spring in there, and I was testing it, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of give, so I'm hoping this will tighten up the steering quite a bit. Also, I've got these right here, which are aluminum, basically push rod links. So all the links that go all the way around the truck, I got aluminum ones of these. I can't remember the brand. These were like knockoff ones from China, so they weren't super expensive. But I'm going to install those as well. Because I noticed a few of them, one of them for sure is bent. I bent this push rod right here, I noticed. I think the same time I broke that arm when I was bashing, I also bent that push rod. And the last thing, one more thing, is this right here, which basically this is just an RPM front bumper mount. So RPM makes good stuff, nice and flexible. I thought I'd just go ahead and put that on, and that would help if I do get any crashes or anything. Help cushion that a little bit more with this bumper mount. So, that's the upgrades I'm doing in today's video, guys. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab the camera, move it a little bit closer, and we're going to jump right in this installation. Alright guys, so first things first, we got to get some of this stuff torn open. So I think I'm going to start off probably with these hub carriers right here. Let's get these ripped open. I'm trying to remember how much these cost. I don't think they were super expensive. Look pretty nice, machined aluminum. Should be significantly stronger than stock, and also it comes with bearings. There we go. The other one, exact same thing. Then there's the bearings right here, rubber sealed bearings, and the last thing is these little, I don't know what these pieces are called, the pieces that screw down to hold the pivot balls in place. So the replacement ones are those. So I think we're going to probably start with the front. So the first thing I'm going to need is a 17mm wrench to get these wheels off. So let me grab my 17mm. Got my 17mm wrench right here. And we're just going to go ahead and get these wheels off. There we go. Alright, got one. And I think we're just going to go ahead and take off the other side right now as well. And there we go. Got that. So this is what it's looking like right now, guys. I'm going to try to turn this a little bit more so you guys will be able to see what I'm doing here. I think I'll just move one of those tires out of the way, and we'll just have one like that holding up the front end. So first things first, I'm going to need like a flathead screwdriver or something to get in here and pull these dust shields off, because there's dust shields right here. Alright, got a flathead screwdriver. Go ahead. Got one of them. Got two. And then that reveals the Allen's key, the hexes that are underneath that need to be removed. I don't know the size, but I'm pretty sure I have it right here. It's one of these two. I have two big ones. I don't know what size these are. 6 maybe? 5? Not sure what size this is. You're going to have to look it up, guys, if you want to find out, because I don't know. I would guess this is probably 5mm. And then we just go ahead, remove these right here, and then that will reveal the pivot ball underneath. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the bottom one. Alright, got that removed. And then that reveals the 2.5 mil that are underneath. I believe those are 2.5, so I'm going to go ahead, I believe this is a 2.5 right here, and kind of have to manipulate it so you can actually get those, because it's the end of the pivot balls is basically what we're unscrewing. So when we are, excuse me, we are unscrewing the pivot balls basically out of the arm right now. All right, got the top one. Get the bottom one undone. Oop. Alright, and that's off. Now I just need to figure out what actually holds this. Okay, it looks like there's probably either a 2 or 1.5 mil right in here that holds the wheel hex on. We also need to remove this link right here. This, I believe, is a 2 mil right here. Yep. And we gotta carefully get this grub screw or grub pin out. Last thing I want to do is strip this. Alright, got the pin. Then the hex should, yep, hex comes off like that. And now, the drive shaft, if I remember correctly, these drive shafts were very difficult to pull out and then put back into these hub carriers. So I'm hoping I don't have as many issues, or it's not as difficult to do it, to put it onto the new ones. I think I'm also going to use a 2 mil and go ahead and remove this link right here. Got that 2 millimeter. That's loose. Now we just gotta break this loose. There we go. Okay guys, and we got the stock one off. And here are the new ones right here. And I'm pretty sure what we need to do is we need to remove these, because I don't think it comes with new ones of these. We need to remove these dust shields right here and put them on the back side of these. But bearings, it does come with new bearings. So we'll just use the new bearings that they included. So first things first, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the bearings. Go ahead, push that in until it seats. I think that's seated right there. Then here's the front one. It can be kind of difficult to press these in. Alright, that looks like it's seated. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the... We don't just need this right here, and crap, this one's ripped. Oh well. We need the actual pivot ball itself. I forgot about that. It doesn't come with new ones of those. So that's just going to go in here like that. And I'm going to try to get these off. These are just held on with these plastic little end pieces. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and slide what's left of the boot on. There we go. Got the boot on, at least started. Then we'll do the exact same process with the bottom one. Push that out, or top one, I don't know which one's which. Go ahead, we're going to feed that in. Oops. Like through here, like that. Then we're going to pop this clip off. And alright, on this side you need to push the pivot ball through very carefully. Don't want to tear that boot. There we go. Both the boots are actually still intact. Got them pushed down. Got the pivot balls put into the new ones. Got the bearings installed. Now we're going to have these right here, and I don't know what this little screw's for. So there's an extra screw that comes in this kit. So I know what these are for right here, but there's 2 screws with 1 nut. So I assume, yeah, I guess this isn't threaded right here. So basically, this nut basically goes on the top like this and seats in here, or it's supposed to. Yep. So the nut seats right in there, and then this would basically be what screw from the bottom, and this is what holds your link on. So simple enough. So next thing, it came with new ones of these supplied. And it's basically the exact same thing as these. And this basically goes in over the pivot ball and covers the pivot balls up. But we can't put those in until we actually reinstall this back onto the arm, because we need to grab my, where's my 2.5 mil right here. We need to screw this back into the suspension arms. That should be good like that, guys. We got one on, and you know what? I made a mistake. I should have put the drive shaft through before I... I'm an idiot, guys. I'm an idiot. Need to get that pressed on. I might have to do that off camera, guys, and I'll be right back with you guys. That's really difficult. I'm back, guys. That bearing, that was actually pretty difficult to push that bearing through, to push that drive shaft through. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to slide over this bearing. I had the same issue with the stock one when I had to replace the suspension arms with RPM ones. I couldn't slide it back through. The issue's not the back bearing, it's always the front one, so I don't know what's up with that. But the other thing, next thing we can do is we can go ahead and install these. And I don't know, I'm assuming because of having these little bits here that I don't need to use thread lock, but I think I'm going to use a dab. But I'm going to use it at the top of the threads right here above this little O-ring, above that little seal, because this is metal going into metal. So literally just a little bit right there at the top, because there's an O-ring there, and then there's this thing that cups around the pivot ball right here, and that's what we're going to be screwing in. And for that, we are going to need our big one again. Still haven't determined what size that is. And we want to tighten it to the point where it's tight, but then we want to back it off so the steering and the pivot balls can still move. They're very difficult to move, so we're going to want to back it off from there. And right there, there's just a tiny bit of play, so that can still steer. And we want to do that with the other ones, or the bottom one, which I'm going to do the same thing, just the tiniest dab of thread lock at the top of the threads, because I don't really want that thread lock dripping down and getting into that socket where the pivot ball is going to be. Last thing I want is get crap in there. And we're going to go ahead and get the bottom one screwed in. Alright, and there it's hard to turn, so I'm going to back it off a little bit. Alright, and there it turns easily. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and throw the hex back on, and then the pin we need, which we determined was a 2mm. So put a dab of thread lock on that, since it's going into metal. Grab our 2mm and go ahead and feed that in through the top. Alright guys, that is on. So this is the front one, and it is finished, as you guys can see. It can still turn easily, that's the way you want it. You don't want just the tiniest bit of play. That's all you want, is a tiny bit of play. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and do the other ones off camera, since it's the exact same procedure. Then I'll be right back with you guys, and I think the next thing we're going to start on is probably this, and then we're going to move on to these push rods. Alright guys, I finally got all those swapped over. Took a bit of time. I think now what we're going to move on to is installing this steering bell crank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the RC over, and I believe I don't even know if you guys can see this, but I'll try to turn it so you guys can see it. Pretty sure we just need to move these two. Well, I think we need to move the front one too, maybe. So these two at least, and that one, I think those are all actually 2mm. So this one right here, undo that. Right, got one long one, and then I think these two probably need to come out, and then maybe those front two as well. I never quite understand why all 1A scales, like this, Traxxas claims it's a 110 scale, but Summit's a 1A scale, and I don't understand why all 1A scales seem to run this pivot ball setup on the front and the rear suspension arms. I don't get it. It's always 1A scale, not like 1/5. Not 110, it doesn't seem like, just 1/8. Let me know if you guys know what the reason behind that is. Let me know in the comments. Alright, got the second one, and there we go. We're able to get that off. And we might need to take off more to actually get the actual bell crank out, though. But I'll figure it out. But so we're kind of going to work on changing these out at the same time, because it's kind of going to go hand in hand. where we're going to be detaching these, so it only makes sense to attach these, which I'm going to want to use a little bit of thread lock, because you guys can see there's threads and then locking nuts, and I also want to get them to the exact length of the ones that I am taking off as well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and rip open the new steering bell crank. Come on. Alright, yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of give to this whatsoever. Now to get this one out, I think we're probably going to have to remove these two right here. These are 2 mil right here and here. I'll go ahead and remove those and see what that puts us at. I'm not super familiar with working on the Summit, because before this series of upgrades, I've only done a few things to it. So before doing the suspension arms, like, I had to figure out how to do the RPM arms, because I hadn't really messed with this RC. So I'm still kind of learning on what it takes to actually take this RC apart. But we'll figure it out. If you remove enough screws, it'll all come apart if you remove enough screws. Let's see, this doesn't come with bearings, so we must have to retain the same bearings. Alright, okay, there we go. Alright, and that's easy enough. And then those two come out. And then this piece. Where'd the other one go? Oh, here it is. We'll leave those in there just so I don't lose them. Set that there. Now the steering bell crank will basically come off once we detach from the little servo arms right here and up here, which those are also 2 millimeter. Go ahead. Alright, got one. And here's the other one right here. Then also I need to make sure I put this in the right way. Okay, it would be like this. Alright, and here is the second one. And then move that, and voila, it comes out. And then what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to put this one in, but first, before that, I'm actually going to go ahead and mess with these. And I think I'm going to time-lapse this for a little bit, because I'm going to try to get the length of all of these new tie rods or push rods the same length as the ones I'm taking off. So I'm going to cue the music, do a bit of time-lapse. I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, here's the issue I'm having. This is the Hot Racing steering bell crank and those kind of off-brand links that I bought. And as you guys can see, I had to bend the crap out of it just for those pivot balls to fit in there. And that one I stripped and I can't get it in. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to go ahead, call this a loss, not switch any of the push rods over, not put the steering bell crank in, just put the stock stuff back in, and then basically the upgrade today was basically just the steering hubs. But, oh, I got to do this actually. Alright guys, I apologize. This has been kind of a mess of a video. Unfortunately, I don't want to use these. I feel like these are going to be more of a hassle than what they're worth, just to get those in. So this is basically destroyed, because look how I had to bend that. I'm just not happy about the fitment, but that's what can happen when you have aftermarket parts, especially. Two aftermarket parts don't always fit together. They sometimes clash with each other, and I found that out today. So I just continued using the stock steering bell crank, and I just swapped the stock one back in and used the stock links. I'm just going to continue with the stock links for now. But the other thing I'm going to do for you real quick is I'm going to go ahead and install this front bumper mount, because that's the other thing I wanted to do. Whoops. So let's see. Looks like to do the front bumper mount, we're going to have to remove these two right here in the front. So right here, and those appear to be 2.5s. And I believe this is my 2.5 right here. Go ahead, get those undone. Alright, got two. Then the bumper's off, and like I said, there's a zip tie there holding that. Now I need a 2 mil to get the two that are right here and here. Undo those. Got the second one. And then this is free. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that zip tie. So we're just going to go ahead, cut the zip tie on this one. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to try to do this exactly the same with this one. So I guess this is universal either way. Yeah, this one must not matter. Okay, this doesn't have a little holder though like this one does, unfortunately, for the lights. But so let's get the 2 mils back in. So here's one of them. Where's the other one? So 2 mil right here, and another 2 millimeter right there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten those down right now, guys. Hopefully you guys can see everything I'm doing. Yeah, sometimes videos don't always go to plan. This is taking me way longer than I thought it would, and it hasn't been as easy as I thought it would be. Got that tightened down. So now I'm gonna grab the light. So I'm then gonna hook the light back up right here real quick. And then I'm gonna want to zip tie it, but I think well, I can get the zip tie started and then just snug it up after we get this on. So just start snugging it like such. Get the bumper on. Get the screws back in. So hopefully if we have any front impacts on this thing, hopefully this will help cushion it a little bit better, because we don't want to go breaking our chassis or the front bulkhead or anything like that. So hopefully this will absorb some of that shock, because I want to bash this thing more and more, you know. Alright, and then just with the zip tie, cut the zip tie as close as I can get it. There we go, and that is on, guys, and we are done with the RPM mount. That was the easiest thing we've done so far. So guys, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into making these videos, so if you could take one quick second, leave this video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, and also make sure to hit that notification bell, so then you'll be notified when I do come out with new videos. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in another video. Later!